So we have some breaking news from the New York Times and from Axios that Donald Trump is getting together with some very unsavory characters like Rudy Giuliani and Sidney Powell and Michael Flynn to continue and muse about somehow trying to change the result of the 2020 election, even though that election is over and Donald Trump lost, and he lost emphatically. And basically, these figures are still essentially talking about, among other things, a military, intervention, martial law against the American voter, against the American public, especially in the swing states, to try and change the electoral result. Again, this is bonkers. It's madness. It's almost certainly not going to happen. But this is spooking even people working in the Trump White House. I'm going to read you a couple pieces of reporting. These are both from Axios, but they're also connected to reporting done by the New York Times to really underline how dangerous and how disturbing this all is. So first here, you have it noted, senior Trump administration officials are increasingly alarmed that President Trump might unleash and abuse the power of government in an effort to overturn the clear result of the election. These officials tell me that Trump is spending too much time with people they consider crackpots or conspiracy theorists and flirting with blatant abuses of power. And it notes here that he had a Friday meeting, first reported by the New York Times, that with Sidney Powell, he's considering making her a special counsel to look into these issues, including things like commandeering voting machines with Powell as a special counsel to inspect the machines, according to a source familiar with the meeting. It notes here that White House counsel and Chief of Staff Mark Meadows pushed strenuously and repeatedly against the ideas put forth by Sidney Powell. The meeting included Mike Flynn, who was pardoned by Trump in November and is a celebrity with election-denying Trump supporters. So you see what's happening here. Even within the Trump White House, even within Trump's close appointees, there is a sense here that this has gone too far, and that people like Mike Flynn and Sidney Powell, who have in the media and behind the scenes done everything they could to cast aspersions on the will of the people that happened in early November, they are still at the table. This narrative that Sidney Powell was, fired for being too aggressive back in the early days of the campaign or the early days of the post-campaign period, that might have been true, but she's never really fully been out of the circle if this is any evidence. Donald Trump has likely kept her at an arm's length, but always there informally advising him. And now she's being brought back in, it seems, into the innermost circle of Trump's deluded fantasies. And it doesn't stop there, because Rudy Giuliani has been asking people at the Department of Homeland Security if the federal government has the ability to just seize voting machines from local and state officials. Apparently they don't, but he's talking about it. Let me read you the reporting there. It notes here, Rudy Giuliani called Ken Cuccinelli, second in command at the Department of Homeland Security, on Thursday night and asked him whether DHS could seize voting machines. A source familiar with the call confirmed to Axios. Cuccinelli responded that DHS does not have that authority, the source said. And here's why it matters. The call, first reported by the New York Times' Maggie Haberman, is another manifestation of President Trump's increasingly extreme efforts to contest an election that was called for President-elect Joe Biden 6 weeks ago. And so you see the state of play here. None of this is going to work. But Donald Trump is doing something awful here. And it's actually surprising me a little bit. And I know you think, why is this surprising you? This is a man that will do anything to hold on to his power and ego. But it seems like Trump was more fully committed to the grift. Like, this was all going to be just about the grift. Like, he knew he lost, but he knew that he could get millions in donations from his supporters if he pretended that he was fighting the election past election day, and that his lawyers could make a bit of money, and that he could build a war chest for 2024 or use that money for whatever political purposes he wanted after he left office. And this was the best way to do it. And I still think that this is part of it. But the fact that he's doing all of this seems to be indicating that he started to believe his own lies, that he's poisoned himself with his own deluded fantasies. What was simply meant to give hope, misguided hope to the MAGA hat wearers, Donald Trump has started to believe. It's like what we talked about a couple nights ago when CNN was reporting that Donald Trump really is considering barricading himself in the Oval Office and refusing to leave the White House. That was a joke before, and Trump called it ridiculous, but behind the scenes, he's musing about it. Maybe only half-heartedly, maybe only quarter-heartedly, but he's still thinking about it now, maybe like he wasn't before. They're entering dangerous territory here, because even if none of this will happen, even if none of this will actually come to fruition, you have a president conspiring with crazy far-right individuals against his own people. This is the first step in how democracies die.